everyone, and welcome to today's Hackerearth webinar. And thank you for tuning in once again, and we're live in another session. And today I have with me a very big personality in the sourcing side of hiring, and it's none other than the pretty famous Dean Da Costa. So he's the enterprise sourcing practice lead at Lockheed Martin. You might have seen him in multiple conferences around the globe, talking about the different tips, tools, and techniques to source the best tech candidates across different industries. So we're glad to have him today. And before we start off, before I pass on this panel to Dean, I'll just introduce you guys to this platform. So this platform is the GoToWebinar platform. On the right-hand side, you have a questions tab in which you can ask your questions whenever you have them. And we'll be monitoring the questions, and Dean will be taking the questions whenever you ask them. So please feel free to ask any questions that you have throughout the session at any particular stage. Don't be afraid of that. Also, we are recording this session, and we'll be sharing the recording with all our registrants. So in case you want to share this with your colleagues or your friends who might not be able to make it today, you can share the recording with them and they can watch it at a time that suits them much better. So now moving on, and it's your game, Dean, now, and over to you. Hope you have a great time to all the attendees as well as Dean.
Cool. So I'm going to assume everybody can hear me because I can see the little green thing. You tell me everybody can hear me. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen as soon as I click the magic button and share my screen. Can someone confirm that you guys can see this Google thing over here, the Google search, so I know which screen it's sharing?
Yes, Dean. A lot of people have said yes. So we can go ahead.
All right, good. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through as much stuff as we can get through, but I thought I would start with a site with how to source on a site called schedule.com. Schedule.com is a site where people schedule conferences. As you can see, the very first one, which is the one we're going to focus on, is a Java conference. It's actually a very specific Java conference. And I thought it would be really pretty cool if we went ahead and I showed you how to do everything you need to do in it. It's a Red Hat Java conference. And so the reason why I wanted to pick this is because sometimes when you go into a conference, in this case for an attendees list, you don't get a lot of information on everybody. Some people you do, some people you just don't. And so I wanted to show you how you can get the information you need from anybody on here. I don't care how much information or how little information they give you. And so the reason why I wanted to do it this way is not just because this will show you how you can use schedule.com as a sourcing tool, but more importantly, this will show you the skills you need so that no matter who you find and where you find them, you can get more on them simply by putting on your Sherlock Holmes hat and following the breadcrumbs. So we're going to start. The first thing we're going to do in this one, like I said, this is a Java Red Hat conference, is we're going to look for somebody that we're interested in. I'm going to pick on this person here named Joseph. The reason I'm doing this is because this person has some information. And so to me, that means he's got some, and we're going to see if we can get more. So in this case, we have a picture, and then we have name and whatever this is right here. It looks like it's a URL. It looks like CZ. I think that's Czechoslovakia, but I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight both of these. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to use Zap Info. Zap Info is a profile scraping tool. And in this case, it also has the ability to allow you to look things up in different places. And we're going to look this up on Google. Let's see, contact out, Indeed, GitHub, boom, 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 contact out, Indeed. Okay, so I would be incorrect on how we're going to do it. We're not going to use that. Instead, we're going to go straight to Google. And FYI, that was done on purpose. I just wanted to show you what's there and we're going to use later. But as you can see, I've already got him right there. That's him. And the reason I know it's him because there's his last name, there's this exact information, and there's an email address for him. Now, that's one thing I could do. I mean, Google's already found him. But what I want to do is also show you just the name and right click and just do it based on that alone. And we're going to get this. Now, here's where you add some info. Now, Google's being a little weird. Usually it gives me better than this. So what we're going to do is, because we know this was a Red Hat conference, we're going to add the words Red Hat, and we're going to get some more information about people. Some of these people are him even. The next method we're going to use, and I'm not trying to show you, is we're going to search on his Google image, and we're going to Google image him. You got Joseph Ponde, so we know his name, which if you remember correctly, Doesn't say his last name here, but Google found his last name. And as you can see, this is him right here. CCZ, Czech Republic, technology leader. This box here is the Seek Out box. Seek Out is a great sourcing tool. I'll show you it later. And what they're saying is they have this person within their profile. Here's his Twitter account. So basically, we have everything we would need to know to really find this guy. Now, the reason why that you don't see more on him from the LinkedIn thing is because I do not stay signed into LinkedIn. I sign in and out, and the reason I do that is because if I'm signed in, LinkedIn can monitor what I do, and I don't want to be monitored. If you see anything on my screen, you want to know what it is, just ask, because I'm not going to be showing all the tools. And as you can see here, that's definitely him. The pictures match his name, tech lead, software engineer, product, boom, boom, boom. So as you can see, this is definitely him. And now that we know it's him, obviously contact information is easy to find. I'm not signed into LinkedIn. There are a bunch of tools that you saw pop up. One of my favorites is a tool called Swordfish. And then if I were to press it, looks like they may have a cell phone landline and a regular number. So we got plenty of things here. We go to websites. You can see he has his own site there. That's his own personal blog. Obviously, if we go to his own personal blog, we're probably going to end up having a way to contact him there. So that's pretty simple. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of information here on him. One of the things I like when it comes to personal blogs, they own their own page, is to check out their who is to see if maybe the information we need is there. But in this case, it's an error, which I would expect given he is from outside the country. And the only other thing we want to do is transfer his page to English so we can read a little better. And there's a contact sign right there. And there's his email, a phone number, everything we need. We're done. That's how simple that one was, because there's just a lot of info there for us. I mean, we had a picture, we had a name, and we had whatever this is, which is a URL of some kind. And I don't know if that's his Twitter or somebody else's Twitter. That's his Twitter. So we've got boatloads of information here on him. So for this particular person, it was real easy. They're not always going to be this easy. And we're going to look at a few others now to try to get a better feel for other ones that may or may not be easy. So you guys can see how we look at all of them. So I've got specific people I want to find on this list because I've been playing with this list for a while now. And we're going to go to this young Jedi right here. And the reason we're going here is simple. We have a decent amount of info. Forget the picture, which is slightly interesting. We got his full name, something to do with Red Hat and quality assurance. We got a decent amount of info here. So I'm going to highlight all of that. We're going to right click again and Google search based on all that info. And we got the developer conference right there. We've got the fact that he's in LinkedIn again right there. And it says Red Hat. So that's it. I mean, that's pretty open and shut. There's not a whole lot that needs to be looked at here, but we will follow the breadcrumbs because we want to follow the breadcrumbs. I'm going to go ahead and go to his page. And once we get to his page, from here, there's so many ways to find contact information. It's really quite interesting. So you have this, which is just different connections. We got some of our tools going ahead and actually trying to find content. Matter of fact, we don't even need to go any further because Namera found an email address for him. So we're done. Namera
So
is a
Dean,
great contact point.
just stopping you here, we have one question from Chris, and he's asking, what was the search that you used to find this conference list? Is there a search particular that you use for finding these
So
lists of conferences?
what I did is I created this search string right here. You could put anything in here. I put Java because I felt like it. This is what I call a bookmark search. Basically, it's not a custom search engine. It's just basically I bookmarked this information by copying this up here, and I added it to my personal SSAR page, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is my personal one. Nobody has it but me and my son. And in this case, this particular search is sitting right there. You can find the same exact search on the CSE Utopia SSAR page, which you all should have access to. If you go on the SourceCon Facebook page, I talk about the SSAR. These are sites that I've put together. There's like 6 of them or 7 of them, and they have links to custom search engines, tools, methods, documents, everything you could ask for as a sourcer. There are 3 of them. There's about a good 7,000 links. This particular row, as an example, are all people finding, contact finding, phone number finding stuff. These are search tools. These are scraping tools. But the CSE Utopia is right here. And if we go to the CSE Utopia, CSE stands for Custom Search Engine, you'll see a boatload of custom search engines here, and that schedule.com one is sitting in here somewhere. I'm not going to look for it. Also, on one of the SSAR pages will be a mini version of some of the ones I like the most, and that particular schedule.com one is sitting here. I don't remember which SSAR page it's on. It's on one of these three. And the reason there are three of them is because there's too much to put on one. It slows the site down. But yeah, that's where you can find it. But this is what I did: site:/schedule.com, then Untitled directory, because we're looking for a directory, and then attendees, and then Java. And there's a bunch of them, but I picked on this one because I've been kind of mining it a little bit. So I figured kill two birds with one stone. And that list got us to, let's get out of him because we found out how to find him, to this list. Now, you only get a list of the attendees after the conference. So if you try to look for a new conference, one that's about to happen, look for an attendees list, isn't going to happen. Usually those attendees lists don't get available until after the conference, which who cares? So, these people are still doing what they're doing, so it doesn't really much matter if you ask me. So, anyway, I hope that answered that question. Let's move on because I want to continue to show you how we can utilize the different, depending on what we have here, different ways of finding people. So the next person I'm going to find, and I'm going to actually do a, there we go, that's the one I want, is Alexander Gesko. Now, the reason I picked him is because all we have is his name. We have no other info. There's no links, no nothing. So this becomes a very interesting thing to search. So obviously we're going to have to search based on his name. Now, I have a bunch of different ways we could do this. For what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do plain old Google search. Now, you get a lot of stuff here, but you got to remember, we are in a Red Hat conference. Now, obviously, the very first person down there, if I'm not mistaken, said something about Red Hat, but we are in a Red Hat conference. So let's add Red Hat and see if it changes things. And boom, right there. Alexander Greco's, he's a cloud computing person. He's got the Red Hat. He's actually an institute person. If we go into his profile, you're actually going to see somewhere within it that he actually says he attended the conference, which is always a good thing. And then we're going to, and like I said, once you're in here, finding contact information is really, really easy because there are a lot of places to go to do it. Swordfish is looking right now and will probably find something. In the case of Namira is looking, trying to find something. And if all else fails, remember, work emails are the easiest thing in the world. He works for Red Hat. I mean, it's not hard to figure out what the Red Hat naming convention is. So let's do it. Let's go push Red Hat. Let's see if we can get to their website. And now that we're getting to the website, I'm going to pull back to him. So we're on the Red Hat website. So in this case, what I'm going to do is use a bookmark that was created by a guy I know named Shane to find emails for this domain. And it's basically trying to find emails associated with redhat.com. Now I'm going to use a tool called Email Extractor to see all the emails that came out. And you see it says Red Hat, and all these things. All I got to do is look at them and figure out what is the naming convention. So there's a first name dot last name. That's a possibility. There's just a first name. And then there's first initial last name. So those are the three ones. So all I would need to do is take his name and test emails, first name dot last name at redhat.com, first initial last name, just first name. I'm going to take a guess. It's not really a guess. I actually know it's first name dot last name for him. And so all I would have to do is create that Alexander's dot his last name at redhat.com. Go ahead and test it. It'll test good. And then I'm good. I have that person. Now, alternately, I can do it another way. I can go ahead and highlight his name. We also got the fact that he's a Red Hat person and use Zap Info search capability and looking up at other places such as, say, contactout. Now, we're going to get more into contactout later. Now, they're saying they don't have anything on him. Okay, that's fine. I mean, he is from out of the country, and so that's not something that would totally surprise me. And then let's see what else we can do. But remembering, we have more information now. We know all this extra information about him that we didn't know before. So if we go ahead and search on all of that in Google, now we're Cloud Consultancy. Now we're getting a little more info than we had before. A few more places that we can go than we did before. Consultant, You see what I'm saying? And so if we follow these, we're probably going to go ahead and find an email address on them somewhere. The other thing we can do is find out what the top personal email naming domains in Czechoslovakia are, and go ahead and figure out the different permutations, and go ahead and figure out his email. In the U.S., they're very common: Gmail, Hotmail, whatever. But in the Czechoslovakian Republic, they might be different ones. The other thing we can do is use a tool called Zap Info. Now, I don't know if it'll work with me not signed into LinkedIn. I've never tried it before, so we're going to find out. Evidently, it worked. And we're going to go ahead and open it up. Oh, I was incorrect. Let's boom, 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 cancel. So if I was signed into LinkedIn, this tool would go ahead and find me his information, but I'm not signed in. So what it's going to do is do it a little bit differently. So I'm going to confirm, and then that's how it grabbed everybody, including some of the people that talked about him. So we have all of that info, and we could start trying to figure out work emails and stuff like that. If I was signed in, it would be significantly prettier. For the sake of this, let me go ahead, and if it'll let me sign in, or if I have too much open, it won't. Nah, it won't. I'm not waiting. But anyway, so if I signed in, I'd be able to grab them even more. Yeah, so that's a whole bunch of different ways about how we can find this person without too much of a problem. And like I said, we would have found his email. I have little doubt. So let's see, let's get out of all these and get back and try to find other people to find that don't necessarily provide a lot of information, or provide a lot, depending on which way we want to go. So the next person we're going to look for is actually somebody that I think is very interesting. And the reason why I think he's interesting is because you have zero work to do here. That's his email right there. I mean, literally, there's no work. You got his email, you know his name, yeah, you can cross-reference him and try to make sure that he's got the skills you want, but you can do that by simply going in here and seeing all the plethora of different ones that are here without too much of a problem. You can go ahead and do a search strictly on his email and see what you can find on him. Let's go ahead and do it based on a Google search of his email, and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. Kai Engert. So, I mean, this isn't hard. He's very easy to find. And there are OSINT tools out there that you can actually use that can help you find information on them. And I will actually show you one of those right now. Let's see here.
Dean, so I guess I have a lot of questions to ask. So
Sure.
I guess before we go on to the next tool, I'll ask a few questions.
Knock your
So
socks
Brad has
off.
a question about what's the point of doing this when you have a list of 200 attendees who might or might not have the experience you're looking for, versus a LinkedIn recruiter that can have a custom search?
Okay, well, first of all, you're assuming everybody on here is on LinkedIn, and if you think that, then I have some land for you in the middle of the Marianas Trench. For those of you wondering, that's the Indian Ocean. It's the deepest point in the earth, and it's water. I know for a fact not all these people on this list are on LinkedIn. Anybody who thinks LinkedIn is the sole answer to your sourcing is really kidding themselves. I understand a lot of people swear by it because it's simple, it's easy, and everything like that. I get that. But here's the reality. LinkedIn says they have 610 million people. They do not. I know at least 100 people that have more than 10 profiles of themselves on LinkedIn. So how can there be 610 million when there's at least 100 of them that are the same person? There are fake profiles on LinkedIn, quite a few. They say right in their terms and agreement, we allow the creation of fake profiles for testing, but what they don't tell you is they don't remove them after the testing. Not to mention the fact, let's get real, there are fake profiles. There are people on there dead. I myself know 200 people on there who are dead and have been dead for years, and they won't remove them. So they don't have 610 million people. Then add in the fact that when you do a search, you can only see 1,000 people. Mathematically, if there's roughly, after you get rid of all the duplicates, fake, and all that, there's about 425, 435 million people. Mathematically, it's impossible for you to see everybody. No matter what you do in a search, you will never see everybody. So that means, theoretically speaking, you might not even see some of these people without coming here first and then going there. And number three, it's not so much we don't know that they don't have our skills. They're going to a Red Hat developer conference. If you're looking for a Java developer and they're going to this conference, they've got the skills. Think about what Red Hat is. Red Hat is not some rinky-dinky little company. They don't hire fly-by-nights. Red Hat has a history, if you've done your research, which I have on them many times, of hiring the best of the best. They are really good. I know a lot of these people personally. They are very good. I also know quite a few of them that are not on LinkedIn. In fact, that last person we looked at, you notice we searched on him. What's the last one? One of the ones we just looked at, we searched on, we didn't see a LinkedIn profile for him. So that's why. If you want to continue to go on LinkedIn, you're more than welcome to, but you need to understand a few things. You won't not everybody is on there. You won't get to see everybody. You subject to in-mails, which according to LinkedIn has an 18% reply rate, which is pretty crappy if you ask me. And that's reply rate, not that they're interested rate, just reply rate. I'm not saying don't use LinkedIn. I'm just saying don't live on LinkedIn, because if you live on LinkedIn, you will die on LinkedIn, because eventually something's going to happen, or you're going to get a hiring manager that doesn't want to see people on LinkedIn, which happens all the time, because let's get real, everybody's farming LinkedIn. Everybody. It's also estimated that 92% of the people out there don't even check their LinkedIn profile but once a quarter. So what are your odds of really getting a hold of them? There's a whole lot of reasons not to live and die on LinkedIn. And let's go one step further, and I'm going to show you this. We're going to play a game here. Which is bigger? 425, we'll say 435, we'll give them the high side, million, or 3.5 billion. Which number is bigger? And once you've determined which is bigger, where do you think you should search? The billions or the millions? Well, the 425 is LinkedIn, 435 is LinkedIn, 3.5 billion is Facebook. And Facebook had over 5.5 billion about a year ago, but they cleaned it up, got rid of a bunch of people that were fake and weren't this and weren't that. They still have some, I'm sure, but I'm just giving you an idea that one is what they are. And again, realizing you can never see everybody on LinkedIn is mathematically impossible. And yes, I have done the math. I have a math degree, among others, and I've done the math. It is impossible because you can't see more than 1,000 at a time. So that means you'd have to change searches and change searches and change searches, and you still wouldn't be able to see everybody. Some of these people, yeah, they may have LinkedIn profiles, but that doesn't mean you would see them searching in LinkedIn. And I've done it. There are people on here who have LinkedIn profiles. And if I just go in there and go Red Hat, Java, I won't see them all. No matter what I do, I cannot see them all. So that's why. This is a way of finding people that may not be in LinkedIn, or may not be easily found in LinkedIn, or may not be able to be found in LinkedIn, even though they're in LinkedIn. And more importantly, this is a way of finding people you know are trying to keep up with what's going on in their chosen profession, because they're going to conferences. And me personally, if I have a guy on LinkedIn and or a girl who doesn't look like they do anything other than work, and I've got somebody who attends these conferences and has a job working for Red Hat as a senior software engineer like this person up here, I'm more interested in this person than I am in the person who doesn't appear to do anything to keep their skills up to this stuff. Now, maybe they do. They just don't put it on LinkedIn. I don't know. But I know for a fact he does, because he went. So there you go. I hope that answered your question. You may or may not agree with my analysis, and if you don't, I'm sorry, but I've been doing this 30 years, and I've been in LinkedIn since day one, so I understand the good, the bad, and the ugly of LinkedIn. So anyway, where was I? Oh, okay. Kai is pretty simple. We don't need to worry about Kai. Oh, I was going to show you Spiderfoot. This is Spiderfoot. Spiderfoot is an OSINT tool. So this is important, because the next thing I'm going to show you is all OSINT. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. It is an intelligence gathering grouping, we'll call it, that has been around forever. Actually didn't get a name to World War One. And basically, if you're on LinkedIn, that's OSINT. If you're on Facebook, that's OSINT. But those are low-level OSINT tools. Those are tools that are really simple. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10's the most ingenious, best, can do things that would knock your socks off, and 1, these tools, Facebook, LinkedIn, are 2s or 3s. They're not very ingenious. They're not very all-encompassing. They don't do a lot. There are tools out there that can follow your geotag of your pictures you take or your tweets, and actually there's a tool called Creepy, which I won't get to show today. And I'll tell you a quick story. A friend of mine was trying to get these testers from a company, and he couldn't get them to reply. I said, hey, do they have Facebook, Twitter, and all that? And he said, yes. I said, great. let's get their handles, which was easy to do, of course. And we went ahead and used Creepy to map them. And we came across some very interesting things. We figured out where they lived. That was simple. The place they tweeted the most. The next place they tweeted the most was work. That was simple. But the next place was one particular place, and it was only on Thursdays between 6 and 8. That was a bar. Every Thursday they went there between 6 and 8. So I told them, you go there with a fishbowl, get their business cards, have something to give out, start talking to them, and I'll tell you for a fact you'll get your opportunity to hire them. Long story short, within a few weeks, he hired 3 of the 5. That's what Creepy can do for us. Creepy can do a lot of things, but in this case, we're not talking Creepy. We're going to talk Spiderfoot. Spiderfoot's a really cool tool. We're just going to call this Test 1, and we're going to take the email address from the young Jedi that we were just looking at. Let's see, go back here. Who were we just looking at? We were just looking at Kai's email. So Kai Engbert right there, I believe. Yeah, we were looking at his email. So let's go ahead and grab his email, copy, and put it into Spiderfoot. Didn't copy the right thing. That was the last thing I copied before that. Copy in here, bingo, and then we're going to run the scan. And what it's doing is it's using this is probably a 5 in the OSINT world. And what it's doing is it's running a scan, trying to use that email address to find information on a person. He's already found. This has already validated the email address. It's already found places on the dark net where that email address is talked about or used. It's already found a public key related to that email, and it's found search engine web content related to that email, and it's not even done yet. It's still going. So in one fell swoop, we've validated it, found other places where it's being used, found a public key that's being used with, and then found a general search content, all in one place, and it's still going. By the time this is done, because I've done it on him before, it's going to show me all his GitHub repositories. It's going to show me several social sites that email address is being used with, a whole bunch of info, just a plethora of info that can really, really, really help you in determining whether they're a good candidate, bad candidate, validating emails, just a whole bunch of stuff. Really cool tool. And you get so many free, and that's part of it. I have a free account, so I'm not using a paid account here. So that's one of the things in which one of the OSINT tools, the better OSINT tools, where you can really gain some really cool information on people. So let's go back to the actual attendees list. Once you know how to do it, almost anything can be used to find them, even if it's limited information like this person right here. All we know is coffee with MILF. But the problem is that's still a username, and usernames are very unique. People are creatures of habit. There they are. There's this person's Instagram right there. There's this person's Twitter right there. You get the hint how easy it can be. Humans are creatures of habit. We tend to use the same thing over and over and over again. Pro43 is one of my usernames. I use it a lot. Star4343 is another. I use it a lot. Odds are they have an email address associated with this username. And if you go on YouTube and look at my email finding methodology, I show how you can use this to find their email without doing anything else but this. So some really cool stuff here. So we are actually done with that specific piece. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into Contact Out. I do not have a paid Contact Out account. I just don't see a need to. I have other tools I actually like a little bit better than Contact Out, but I have to admit there is some information that can come in really handy. So I'm going to go to this. So what I did here is I love picking on Java, in case you didn't know, is I did site:/contactout.com Java developer, and look at all I got here. Boatloads of people, 15,000 people. So I'm going to go into Sarah Danielson's. Now here's the downside to it. The downside to this is Sarah Danielson's email, phone. I got her title, I got a picture, I got a title, I know where she works, I know where she lives, I got all this great info. So finding her work email is a piece of cake. But here's the interesting part. If you come over here, we have part of her email. We know she's got gmail.com. We know the last letter is an S. The first letter is a Z. Now, the S probably is for Sarah. The Z, who knows? I don't even know. but there's enough information here to cross-reference and find it really quick. But one thing I do every once in a while is I like to go ahead and search based on that. We all know the wildcard is. So we have a Z with a wildcard. What I will do, because most of the time multiple wildcards don't work very well in Google, we're going to just take away a few of them and see if this works. Right down here, Email Sherlock found something. Email Sherlock is an email validating tool. If we look here, there's a whole bunch of emails that could go to them. Okay, that didn't help us a lot. But again, we have Sarah, we got her name and we know where she works. So let's do a little cross references. Let's do a Google search, but let's get a little more information here. Let's grab this part of it, where she works, and add that to her name and see what info that gives us. Up, wrong stuff. That grabbed me the old email from that guy. So let's try that again. Copy. This is all about being a social detective. Wow, she is on LinkedIn. Good to know. She's right there. And she's a job developer at Houston. We know that's the right person. Now, I could have just easily just done it based on her picture because she evidently is using the same picture, but I didn't. But my point I'm trying to get at is even something like a contact out, even though you technically should pay for it, is a tool that we can use to source and find people. If we go into this particular person, now here's an interesting one. Mickey Barton, email, phone. Now let's look at the emails here. We got M, and then it ends in an N at sbcglobal.net. Well, Mickey Barton, M-N. So I would take a wild guess that that email is either Mickey.Barton or M Barton at sbcglobal.com. It's one or the other, more than likely. Could be underscore, doubtful. It's one of those two. The next one is starts with an M and ends with an R. Now that's a little more interesting. The Mickey's the easy part. The Barton is not. So could be that she went with Mickey Bar. Could be. Don't know. But there's an example. But again, of course, we can just cross-reference based on these pieces of information. And let's see, can we cross-reference based on that picture? No, it's too small a picture. But anyway, long story short, we have a lot of people. And just so you understand, contactout has a lot of people, 1.5 billion, they say. Well, if they have 1.5 billion and LinkedIn only has 425 million, then that tells you they've got people that are not on LinkedIn. So yet another reason why you want to search in places other than just LinkedIn. So is everybody cool with that? Because we've got a couple more things we're going to do and then some toys we're going to look at. Zoominfo. Zoominfo is really, really, really cool. I'm going to look for Java. Like I said, I keep picking on Java just because it's the nature. And I'm going to pick this group. And what you're going to do when you get it is look at what you get. I'm not signed in. I don't have an account, but look at all that info you get. You're trying to tell me that that's not enough info for you to go ahead and figure out who these people are and if they are on LinkedIn or not on LinkedIn or whatever. But here's the best part. Let's see if Zap Info will work here. We're going to extract from page. Look at that. It got all of them. Now, I don't want to get all 20 of them. So let's do none, and let's just pick 3 of them. Zap Info is one of my favorite tools because it does a lot. It scrapes people. It finds people. Look at all this. Look, not only did it scrape their information, but it already found you some work emails. So you don't even have to. You got 2 of the 3 work emails, and you can download this list, upload it to other tools like Seek Out to find contact information. You can do all sorts of neat stuff here. And that's so even a list like this becomes a viable list that you can use and you don't have to pay for it. It is free because I just taught you how to X-ray in. X-raying is the key to free because if you can X-ray and you can figure out how to X-ray into a site, and not all of them can be X-rayed, but most of them, then you can find anything you want. And there's literally nothing that can be stopped. Nothing that can stop you. So we're going to keep going here. There's a rhythm to everything I'm doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some TikToking. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I had no TikTok. I thought somebody was trying to tell me what time it was. But I figured it out and realized, hey, you know what? This is probably something I need to keep my eye on. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it. We did a TikTok. And we were looking for a Java and developer. Like I said, I pick on them. If you guys had something in particular you'd like me to use in a search, just to show you what I can get, let me know, and I'll do a search or I'll figure out a way and tell you where to go. So we got their name, we got their username, we know they're a developer. I mean, we've got more than enough. Oh, and we got their direct LinkedIn, their direct TikTok URL. I don't care about the sharing part. So, I mean, we have a lot of info here, truth be told. So the first thing I would probably do is probably just go right here. We know they're a developer. Matter of fact, even better, let's go here and let's do a quick Google search. Right there's the Facebook page, Game Development Company Android. Yep, that's it. That's their Facebook page. That's pretty simple. That was almost too simple. That's how you can do a TikTok. And let me help you out. I know for a fact there are people on TikTok, not on LinkedIn. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot, but that's how simple. The whole idea behind what I've been trying to show you here today is how to gain access to the people in these particular sites, but more importantly, how to be a social detective. How to utilize your skills to cross-reference information to find the people you want, because it's important. Now I'm going to show you one of my favorite new toys. I shouldn't call it a new toy. That's kind of bad. But this is one of my favorites because it does so much. And I'm going to pick on me only because I don't want to pick on it. It's called Simple Email Reputation. Now you're probably going, okay, let me take a guess. It's going to validate an email. Yeah, it is. But it's going to do so much more. Not only did it validate that email as being a legit email, so let's think about it. It's got my email. It's a reputation of high, suspicious, false, means it's good. Reference LI, okay, boom, boom, boom. It's not blacklisted. There's no malicious activity. Yay, it's the first time it was seen here, boom, boom, boom. But guess what else? It's also found that that email address is associated with Spotify, Gravatar, and Pastebin. That means if I go to those sites and search for that email, I'm going to find him. I'm going to find myself. I mean, how cool is that, knowing that not only can you validate the email, but you can find out exactly where to go. Now I'm going to use one of my other emails, and you're going to now same thing, but look. So not only do you know that that's a good email, but now you know, hey, I can go. I mean, I can go to all these sites and find that person and know everything I need to know about them, and I'm afraid to ask. That's a good, cool tool, powerful. Something that's something that a normal email validator. Normally with a normal email validator, you only get pretty much this. Yeah, it's good. That's it. Here you get everything that you need, including every site that's connected to it. That's a really cool tool, my opinion. Anyway, so what I want to do now is I'm going to break this out. So, for those of you that don't know, and this is an extremely selfish plug, I wrote a book called OSINT for the Staffing World. It's about it's a I hate to use the word dummy, but it's an entry-level guide to OSINT, explaining to what OSINT is, explaining to you how it's used, giving you an idea of different tools and stuff like that. There is a site out there called IntelliTechniques, which is an OSINT site. I took these courses. I'm certified with this guy. It's from a guy named Michael. He has a book, and it's this particular book up here. I highly recommend you get my book, which you can find on Amazon, and then his book. And the reason why you want to get his book is because if you get his book, you get access to this. You get access to all these OSINT tools. So I'll give you an idea of what I mean by that. So let's do this. I'm going to do this email address one. Now, keep in mind that I have done some things to these tools. I've added to these tools. So the list you're going to see here is not the exact list that you would get if you buy book and then his book and then download the tools. There's about 5 new searches that I've added because I've programmed so it's not hard for me to add them. There's some sites that I wanted to add. So if I populate all and look at all this stuff down here, let's go with that's them. It's going to automatically open up that's them with my email already pre-populated and gives you, yes, that's where I work. Okay, I'm old. Everybody be quiet. I don't give a rip about this wealth crap because frankly, I don't. That's my wife. No, you don't know how old she is. She's 21. She was 21 when I met her 32 years ago, and she's still 21. That's all. That trust me, she's 21. So that's pretty cool. And you can go through all these. Now, this down here says submit all. It will open every one of these. Don't do it. It will slow your computer down, slow your browser down, maybe even break it. And what I mean by break it, just might freeze it for a while. That's too much. So whatever you do, don't. But still, all these things are available to you. Let's use another one. Let's go to the usernames. Now, I've added a few here to the username. Let's pick a username. We'll pick my Pro 43 as one of my usernames because it is one of them. Let's go ahead. And then let's just see where it may or may not be being used. Let's go to, let's go to YouTube. Is Pro 43 on YouTube anywhere? I have 4 subscribers. That may not be me. Matter of fact, I know it's not me because I happen to know that's not the one I use. So it's not foolproof. Let's just keep going. Instagram. I don't think I'm on Instagram. I removed my Instagram profile. So at any rate, this is where, let's use Noam. So what Noam is going to take that Pro 43 and basically search and tell you where that specific username is being used and where it's not being used. This is pretty good because, like I said, people are creatures of habit, and if it's being used there's a good chance it's me. Not 100% as we've seen, but pretty close. This one's available. You could use it there, but on Blogger, it's already been used. That is me, by the way. On Daily Motion's already been used. I believe that's me. Flickr's me. Probably 2/3 of the ones here are actually me. So that's how that one can be used. Let's see, what other ones do we have? We have phone number ones to help you validate phone number. We got real name ones. So we've got a bunch of them that can help you find who people are. So we're going to put in Dean. Now, in my case, my last name is 2 words. In most cases, you want to use 1 word because most of these tools don't do 2 words. So we're going to start with, let's see, let's do True People Search. And there you go. You got your pick of the Dean Da Costa. This one down here is me. Age is wrong, but the rest of it's right. Oh, wow. Phone number's correct. That phone number's correct. That used to be correct. And let's go down here to the emails because I know there are some emails. Let's view emails. Okay, that one is correct. That one's my brother, actually. That one's my niece. That one's, I don't know. This one's me, and this one's me. So there you go. So this is a very, very cool. And as you can see, it's telephones, communities, pasting sites, images, all sorts. Pasting sites is really, really a cool one. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to put in one of my emails. I'm doing this on purpose because this is a legit sourcing tool. So look at this. We're going to open this up. This is a list that was put in a pasting site. Pasting site is a place like a text editor online. This is a list of people who attended a Hire Tool webinar. Look at all the emails. So if I'm looking, knowing what Hire Tool is, sourcing tool, if I'm like, you know what, I really need to hire a recruiter or a sourcer, I've got a list of about 62 people that are recruiters and sourcers that have, and I have their direct email addresses. I mean, come on, this is like a no-brainer. And you can actually search with a lot of different things. I searched for an email. I didn't have to. Here, I'll show you something. I'm going to do a Java, and I'm going to do gmail.com. I'm going to put that in quotes. And look at all this. And notice there's emails. Send email in Java using, okay, so this person's talking about sending an email using Java via Gmail's SMTP server, and there's his email right there. So we know he's a Java developer already, and there's his email. I mean, all these emails are sitting here ready for us to gather. 90, I don't know how many, 60 of them. And again, they may not be on LinkedIn. They might be, don't know. But this is a real, this is a really cool set of tools. But again, you'd have to buy my book so you understand those, and then buy his book. My book's like $12.99. His book, I think, is 30 something. Really good book. I have it. I have all of his books. Love his books. But very soon, this is the only way to get these now because he's had to take them down because of some issues. So, right, so that's that. I was really glad we got that. So one of the things I want to do is Facebook. Facebook has become extremely hard to search, and the reason is because they took away the graph search. And so you could search in the Omnibox pretty easily, but the Omnibox searching really doesn't work anymore. And I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm actually going to do it by opening. Okay, so this browser I'm using is not Chrome. This is called Brave. It is a Chrome-based browser, but it's a secured Chrome-based browser. When you use it, you can use it like this, or you can use it with a private window. This is a private window. It's not Tor, private window. That means you can't be followed and monitored as easy. Can't get access to the dark web, but you can't be monitored easily. Comes in really handy. However, unlike, and a lot of the web browsers have this, but unlike most of the web browsers, not only can you have a new private window, but you can have a private window with Tor. Tor stands for the onion ring. The Tor is the only way to get to the dark web. You can't get to the dark web without Tor or a Tor-based something. It's in my book, so if you get it, you'll be able to read and know it. And this particular browser lets you get to Tor the easy way. You don't need to have it on your computer. It's here built in. So that's one of the reasons why I love this browser. But anyway, we're going to go into Facebook. So if I go up here and I search for Java developer, and let's pick on Amazon just because, well, I can. And I search. Now, obviously, I'm going to get a bunch of stuff, but I want to go to people. Well, guess what? There are none because it doesn't let you search that way anymore. That kind of sucks, but there are things you can do. So I'm going to show you. So we're going to go back here, and I'm going to go on this particular SSAR, and I'm going to show you. And you can find this on CSC Utopia, and I believe also on the regular SSAR page, so don't think you have to do it here. I created an X-ray string. Now let's look at it. I said site : facebook.com. That's standard. But then I did in brackets, Seattle in quotes, engineer in quotes, Amazon, around 10 to present minus post. Now, why around to? Around is a Boolean operator that basically says look for these words within 10 words before or after this word. So I'm saying find me Seattle, engineer, and Amazon around 10 words, meaning up, forward, back to the words to present. Well, to present means where they're at. So if I find people that say that they're Seattle, engineer, and Amazon at, and it's the to present, then I know that's what they are. So first person, Seattle developer engineer. There's the engineer. To present, Seattle, Washington, Amazon. He or she is a developer at Amazon right now. That's how you can still search around Facebook. And what's really cool is a tool like Swordfish can actually grab all these people and try to find contact information for you. Zap Info can also do it. So you have two tools here that can find all these people for you. Start enhancing it and trying to get contact information. I'm clearing it out. This one's right here. It's already found an email for one person, and that's without even really asking it to. And it gets the entire page, and there may be some more emails in here. And then you have Zap Info can grab them as well. So you got two tools that can grab them all. And then there's a tool called JobJet that can do it as well. So you got three tools now that can grab all these and find them. But my point is, this is how you search in Facebook. This is the best and easiest way to search in Facebook. And if you want to use different than this one, or you're worried about not being able to find it, if you go into Zap Info and you go to the tools, you go to the Boolean Builder or the search library, you can actually find pre-built strings that will do the exact same thing. All you got to do is find what you're looking for. Okay, can we stop? So you title what you're looking for, then you put a domain, Facebook, whatever, or domain, category, and then search, and you'll have strings pre-built like this one down here, which is for travel nurses on Facebook. And in this case, it's a group search, so you're just finding people who are members of group, and this is the travel nurse group, and so you're finding people who are lists. This is a public group, which I'm going to get into how to source out of public groups in a minute. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy. These are pre-built. You can also use the search builder to build your own, and it will build these and save them for you, so you can keep using them over and over again. Or you can just find this particular one and change it as you see fit. But my point is, this is how you do it. Facebook is still a viable option. You just got to know how. So we're going to come back here now, and we're going to look up the word just Java. We're going to get out of this, and we're just going to look up Java developer. And in this case, we don't want people. We want groups. Once we get here, we want public groups. The reason why we want public groups is because if it's a private group, you can't see the members, or you can't see all of them. But if it's a public group, you can see them all. So we're going to we'll go to this one only because it can, and we want to go to members. And these are where you see all the members of the group. New to the group is the best place to go because you can see everybody. Even, it goes in order from the most recent to the oldest. And once you're here, you can use Zap Info or Swordfish to grab these people and to find them and to get contact info and to do its thing. So those are the two ways to source in Facebook. So Facebook, despite what you may have heard because graph search is going away, it is still very viable. And actually, to be quite honest, very easy. Not only all of that, but if you are a person who uses a tool called Seekout, which is one of my favorite tools. It's a sourcing tool, and you go into other networks and you go into Facebook, And in this case, we're going to do registered nurse Seattle because it's already there, and I don't have to spend a lot of time. And I've got 650 people that they've got. Now, you know, it says registered nurse Seattle. Well, here's a way to get a few more people than just registered nurses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in or RN, because RN's registered nurse, and we're going to do it again. And now I got 1,670 people. That's a lot of nurses. And they can save it. They can find contact for you. You can do anything you want here. This is one of my favorite tools because it can search public profiles, LinkedIn, basically. GitHub has the engineering expert, which is something that no other tool out there has. It has engineering and life science, medical, and healthcare. Basically, what they did is they went ahead and created a database that has everybody who's attended a conference, spoke at a conference, done a white paper, has a patent, wrote a book, all those things. And they, instead of you have to go to 26 different sites to find these people, you can go to one site. And let me help you out because I know someone's going to say, well, LinkedIn. Well, we're going to unLinkedIn LinkedIn. We're going to put in the word Java. That's all I'm going to do. We're going to do a search. 106,000 people. Now, we could have put more info and got more, but what I'm going to do is says have public profile. Public profile means LinkedIn, just so you know. We're going to put no, I don't want to see people that have a public profile. Well, there's 76,000 that don't. What that means is either these people are not on LinkedIn or there's not enough information in their LinkedIn profile to match them to this. There are a lot of profiles on LinkedIn. I just ran one the other day. The only thing he had was his first name. The reason why he showed up is because his last name's Java. But all it's there is his name. I don't know what he does. I don't know who he is. I'm guessing he's fake. And one day when I have time, I'll trace the IP calls and figure out where he's at and what he's doing and probably find he's a fake. He's fake. But there's 76,000 people here that are not easily, that either aren't on LinkedIn or you can't easily find them on LinkedIn. Now think about that for a minute. 76,000, and they will find you contact information. Matter of fact, look, these are other places where you can find this person. There's their academic, there's their Google Scholar, and there's their the general Google search, but you don't see LinkedIn there now, do you? Because they're not there. And it has a life sciences one too. And then, of course, on the other social networks, it has all this. It has a Chrome extension, which works really well and finds contact information, lets you grab people and stick them into Seek Out. Really cool tool. It finds phone numbers and email addresses. In fact, I just did a search for nurses. And look, email, phone number, other social sites. It's really a cool tool. Anyway, another tool for those. Now, it's not cheap. It's not expensive. I think the best up to date God's gift is $6,000 a year. But for $6,000 a year, you get everybody on LinkedIn, everybody on GitHub, those other places search, all those social sites, contact them. You get everything. And last I checked, the LinkedIn recruiter license is $10,000 to $12,000 unless you're a grandfather. If you need a cheaper tool, Rockstar Finder is cheaper and is really cool and simple to use. And basically, you search candidates and you put what you look for. We're going to do country, we're going to do city, state, whatever. We'll just do Washington. We'll do a title of developer, only because I want to. We'll do application developer. Let's do Java, since I don't like that word. If it'll let me. There we go. We have extra parameters down here. You can search for all these other things. I don't really care. I just want to show you how it works. We're going to let it process, and you get people. And it's pretty accurate. You can save them to a folder. You can find contact information. You can even email them right from here. You can even text them right from this tool. It can act like a mini CRM for you. It can keep track of your clients, your job orders, everything. And it's a very inexpensive tool. If I remember correctly, you can get, and don't quote me on this, I believe you can get accounts for as little as $100 a month. So just wanted to let you know all that. We've gone through a lot, and it is 10:56. We got 4 minutes left in the hour, and I guess we should probably open up to see if there are any questions or anything like that. I believe, correct?
Yes, so Dean, we have a lot of questions, but we'll quickly run through. We'll give you a super break. You can have your water and in the meantime, I'll take over the screen and I'll tell about Hackerearth and what we do.
All right, it's all yours.
Guys, yep. So while we give Dean a small break and we come back with all the questions that you have, guys, here's a little bit about Hackerearth and what we do. So tech skills is one of the most valued global currency across the globe. I mean, companies are betting pretty hard on this. About all the companies across the globe want the best developers across the globe, and they want to hire the best. They want to have the best. And be it a small company like an Oculus or an Airbnb, to big tech companies like an Amazon, Google, or a Facebook, and to non-traditional IT companies as well, such as Walmart Labs or FedEx or even a Starbucks. All the companies mentioned here are looking for top developers, and that's where we help you. So a little bit of statistics. So technical hiring is a little hard. It's around 50 to 60 days, 6 assessments, 10,000 plus hours spent in screening. The average cost of hire is around $30,000. That's a lot of money there. And a few challenges that recruiters are facing, that is assessing the candidates the right way, identifying the candidates, as Dean pretty much explained throughout this last 1 hour, that how you can find those top candidates, and understanding the expectations of a candidate, as well as battling with remote hiring. So once you found your ideal candidate, as Dean told us, multiple ways to find your perfect candidate, it's important to assess them as well. I mean, you don't want to hire someone just because they have a very fancy designation at a very fancy company. You want to test if they are actually good enough for the job that you're offering them and the role that you have. This is where Hackerearth helps you, and we provide you with a developer assessment platform that helps you assess your candidates in the best possible way. So using the platform, you can bring down your time to hire by almost 50%, and also the quality of hires, a very important metric, by 60%. And these are a few customers that have been using us: Amazon, Walmart, Nokia, big names there, and also the government of Canada. So this is the platform at a glance. So we can test almost 500 plus skills in 35 plus programming languages. And not to miss out, our platform supports 6 spoken languages as well. So that includes French, German, English, Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian. We have a very robust product proctoring settings so that you have the candidate not cheating by any means. You need to have a candidate who does not cheat and knows stuff actually. You can conduct remote interviews, and the fourth point, very interesting, you can create automatic tests by uploading your job description or selecting a job role. So you just have to upload your job description or your job role, and the platform will automatically create a test for you. We have a question library of almost 12,000 questions. Apart from that, you can also add your own questions if you have them. And the last point, very important for hiring managers, to have the analytics of the candidate performance. It's very important to, for a candidate, for a hiring manager to actually know which skills does the candidate actually excel in and what he does the best. So in short, Dean told us multiple things about finding the right candidate, but it's equally important to, assess them and test their skills so that don't have any kind of false negatives. So that brings me to the end of my presentation, and now we're open to questions that we have. So Dean, questions, okay. So we'll start off with the questions that came up early. Okay, so Himant wants to know, how do you search for, let's say, non-technical roles, such as a sales role? Is there any particular tool that you would suggest for finding out people from the non-technical background?
It depends on what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for a doctor, you use the AMA site to go ahead and find it. If you're looking for truck drivers, you can use the same method I use. Believe it or not, I was trying to help a friend of mine find some truck drivers, and I used the contactout and Zoominfo and found boatloads of truck drivers. For salespeople, there's a lot of things. One interesting place to look is the FEC site, and that's basically Federal Elections Commission, because you can put down, when you're looking for people, you can just put down a title. Like if I remember correctly, I looked for warehouse people on it, and I found a list of something like 5,000 warehouse workers. And you get their name, where they live, their title, where they work. and it's free. So there's a lot of places to look. You just gotta. It just depends. Salespeople. I'm 99.99999% sure Zoominfo, contact outside. I've showed you Facebook. Sales is a pretty simple thing on Facebook. You just got to take what I showed you today, and instead of putting Java, just put in sales, or put in technical sales, or put in non-technical sales, or medical sales, or whatever the terms are you want, and you're still going to find people. In fact, let's go ahead and do that exact thing. Let me make another attendee presenter. Oh, I can't share my screen right now.
Okay, just a moment. I'll just share
No,
it to
it's
you.
cool. I think they get the general idea. It's cool. Don't worry about it. So where if I had site:/zoominfo.com Java, you just put site:/zoominfo.com sales, and you'll still find salespeople. It works just fine. I use technical a lot just because I do a lot of technical, and it's just simpler for me. But I could just easily not use technical. The same thing goes with Facebook, TikTok, Contactout, any of the places that you saw me search. You could target a company. There's a site called Bear's Official Store where you could see a list of everybody who works for a particular company. So you can just target a company and go for it. There's a lot of things you can do. Next question.
Okay, so can you suggest some more add-ons like Swordfish? Is there any other tool that is available there?
If you go on, Swordfish is a content finding tool. If you go on the SSAR page and look under the phone, email, people lookup plus, you'll see boatloads of them. But for me, Swordfish is one, Numera is one, the Seek Out extension's one, the Hire Tool extension's one, Zap Info is a good one. That's just to name a few off the top of my head. If you are looking for technical talent, Human Predictions and Amazing Hiring are really good. If you're looking in LinkedIn, Pre-Contact Tools really good, and it's pretty much free. Kendo is really good, and it works in LinkedIn and GitHub and several other places. So those are the biggies. Hire Tool
Okay.
has an extension that does it as well, but mainly work emails, but it does do it.
Okay, perfect. So also, guys, we are running a poll, so if it would be great if you guys could, be a part of this poll and share your opinions. Moving on to the next question, Dean. We're running out of time, but still we'll take a few more questions. Is there any tool that is specifically for finding out the phone numbers of the candidates?
Yes, Swordfish. Swordfish
Okay.
and the Seek Out extensions will find phone numbers. And then there's other ways to find phone numbers. If you remember correctly, I went into, when I searched my name, there was, here, let me share my screen, please?
Yep, I'll do that for sure.
You do that. And while you do that, I will open up a particular site that I want to show. All right, can I share my screen now?
Yes, now you can.
No, I can't. It's still not letting me click it. Okay, that's me. There we go. Okay, if you can see this screen, this is True People Search. It's on the list on the SSAR page. I'm going to pick on me because I like picking on myself. Now, I'm going to go ahead and keep my name together just because, well, I'm gonna. I don't recall on this site if it works separate or together. My guess is both. So there I am. I don't know what it is about my age. Keeps getting it wrong. But there's my phone numbers. The top two are my number. It's open and shut. They are my number. The third one was my number. And there are other sites that you can, believe it or not, genealogy sites. You would be surprised the information you could find on a genealogy site. Let me see if I can find the link to the one that I like the most. Genealogy sites can find some really cool information on people. In fact, the one genealogy site that I use the most actually has my phone number. So what I'm going to do, and I'm in a custom search engine built for the genealogy sites, and yay, it's freezing. Too much resources open. Let me close a few things here. All right, let's try that again now. Maybe it'll work. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to put in the name Da Costa, all one word, and go. I don't really care if I find the name Da Costa or not, to be honest with you. I just want to be close. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to pick this one just to pick it. And this may not be the right. Okay, yeah. So if I come down here, you'll notice it has all these names and everything like that. Great. But you notice she has other variations of names here. Now, let's see if we can find Da Costa there, or if I need to do it a different way. All right, so it's not going to find it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here, and instead I'm going to go ahead and erase it. Now, the reason why I did it out of a custom search engine is because, believe it or not, it's actually easier. For some reason, it didn't find, this time it didn't find the one I wanted. Let's try it with 2 Da Silva. That'll work. It's close. You don't have to get exact. You just got to close. So let's go down here and see if we find a Da Costa, Da Rosa, Da Silva. A lot of does, but not the one that I give. Oh, there's a Da Costa, not the right one, but let's get in it anyway. None of them are me, but that's okay, because once again, you come down here and you've got other variations. And so eventually what you're going to do is you're going to find the one that has exactly what you're looking for, which is Da Costa, one word. Let's see if it'll let me. Oh, good. Normally it doesn't let me do that, just so you know. So once you get to Da Costa, you got to then get to the location. I'm in Washington State, so we're going to go to Washington State. And if you come down here, that's my daughter and that's my home number, which is unlisted. Oops. That's my name and that's my cell phone number. So there you go. There's 2 phone numbers. Not like finding my phone number is hard to do, by the way. Mine's real easy. But I'm just saying, there's 2 ways. Another way you can do it, and I need to go on here and see if I can find the right one. And this is an interesting one. Right here, I believe. This is an interesting thing because this is something I just ran across and I wasn't sure. 25231 130. I'm putting in my address in case you want to place Southeast Kent, Washington. All right, so there's my address. This is a Hometry account, but if you go down further, you'll notice my wife's name, phone number, my name, phone number. It's really interesting. The information's available out there if you look. In this case, I'm using Hometry, a way to find houses and stuff and who owns them, and I get phone numbers. How cool is that? All right, next.
Yes. So one more question is, will Rockstar also source people outside of LinkedIn?
Is Rockstar what?
Will Rockstar also source people outside of LinkedIn?
To the best of my knowledge, yes. It does do all the LinkedIn stuff, but then it does do some sourcing outside of LinkedIn. It doesn't do everywhere that, there are some tools that do more. The seek out thing, that expert, the 2 experts, the medical and the engineering, which is including software, no tools got that. But all the other stuff, yeah, Rockstar does the same stuff.
Perfect. Okay, so the last 2 questions that we have, we've already crossed our time. So will tools and sourcing change for those who have to comply with CCPA, that is the California Consumer Privacy Act?
It could. Um, it's tough to say because here's the question. Let's say you work in California, but you're trying to find something on somebody in Minnesota. Does the law apply? Or is it only people in? That, if I'm not mistaken, remembering what the law says, it's an open question. And then there's still the question of that's going to get answered at some point in time is putting the information out there, making it available, consent or not. Example, LinkedIn. Is LinkedIn pretty much fried in California because some people put their email addresses on the LinkedIn profile? The way I think it's going to come out, and I've read the law a few times, and there's parts of it that I don't understand fully yet. Matter of fact, I got lawyers that don't understand it. It's going to be a matter of the storage of the information more than the actual finding of it, is what eventually it's going to matter. There's several lawsuits relating to that law that are working its way through the California courts. And I suspect what's going to end up happening is it's not going to be the finding and using of the information. It's going to be the storage of the information. So as an example, if I go out there and I find my wife's information, well, and she's not my wife, I find somebody's information, I contact them, that's fine, but I can't store that information without their permission. Very similar to parts of what the Europe law is. That's what I think it's going to come down to, because we are a society of social lights, social people, if you want to call it that, or social whatever. And that information is always going to be available. So if people are making it available, they're making it available for a reason. Now, if you want to argue it's not for recruiters to find and do jobs, then say no. Then put down not interested in a job, or no recruiters, or no sales, or whatever, just like you do on houses. But if you don't, you're doing it to be found. I mean, LinkedIn's whole premise is about social. So there's some lawsuits going on with it, and that's why I'm not really focusing too much on the law yet, because it's not the final iteration of the law. That law is going to get modified and changed over the next couple of years as these lawsuits find their way in and out. It's kind of like the lawsuit with LinkedIn with Q5 or a high five or whatever it's called, the scraping thing. LinkedIn lost. There are other lawsuits going on, so this could be interesting. So that's my thought process on it. And then the question is this: if I find your contact information on Facebook, but you have a resume on Munster, then why can't I use it? It doesn't matter where I found it. You're looking, you've put it actively out there. So there's a lot of permutation. That law is left a lot open to interpretation. So I'm expecting lawsuits going on for years to figure it all out. There's a lot of variables. And inevitably, laws like that usually don't think about the variables. The one in Europe right now is going through some hard times because of the same variables. They're probably going to be having to modify and change it because they left it. They went a little too specific in areas and a little too broad in other areas. It'll be interesting. We'll see. I hope that answered that one.
Yes, it does. So, also on an ending note, yes, we have recorded this session and we'll be sharing it with all our attendees. So, I know there was a lot of things covered today, a lot of new tools, a lot of new ways. So, you might have missed out on a few, so don't worry about that. We'll be sharing the recording. Also, to this, this brings us to the end of today's session. And I would like to, thank Dean with all our hearts at Hackerearth for actually accepting to being a part of this series and to share such insightful details with us and the attendees. So thank you so much, Dean, for your time as well. And although we've crossed the 1 hour time, but really appreciate the fact that you could take out time for us.
I will bet you money you could not find one webinar I've ever done that ended on time.
That's perfectly.
I had a webinar I did 2 months ago. It was supposed to be an hour. It ended up being 3 hours because people wanted to stay on and ask questions. So I stayed.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and also thank you to our attendees for taking out time out of their busy schedules to attend today's session with Dean. And please, if you have any feedback for us as well as Dean, please do reach out to us on LinkedIn. Do tag Dean as well as Hackerearth on LinkedIn or any other social media channel that you would like to share your feedback on. And thank you so much once again. Hope to see you on more sessions around recruiting. And thank you, Dean, once again. Hope you have a great day ahead. And thank you.
Bye, everybody.